The revenge of the fifth is upon us. My name is Lachlan, and welcome to Bricks and Sticks. Today I'll be taking a look at one of the oldest sets I own, set 7259, the ARC 170 Starfighter. This set was released in May 2005 for $40 US, which equates to around 50 to 60 Australian dollars. Finding the original Australian price for this set was surprisingly difficult. Now, the set itself is comprised of 396 pieces. It's rated for ages 8 and up and includes 4 minifigures, which I'll talk more about in just a minute. The front of the box is amazing. Like all LEGO sets, we see this set front and center. But what makes this set truly special is the rest of the art we see here. For starters, going off of the background art, this set is based on the Battle of Coruscant, which is the first of many points that this set gets for accuracy, as we very much do see the ARC 170 in the Battle of Coruscant. We also get that iconic 2005 border art with lava explosions and the helmet of Darth Vader. On the side of the box, we see an image of how to open and close the foils. Plus, you guessed it, the LEGO and Star Wars logos. On the top of the box, we see those same logos repeated, alongside the graphics of stars and this set's minifigure selection, being composed of an astromech droid and 3 clone pilots. The back of the box is quite interesting, displaying quite a fair few things that we don't really see on modern LEGO boxes. Though there are definitely things that LEGO has kept doing even 20 years later in 2025. Also, just pretend like the tape holding the left side of the box together isn't there. The first diagram we see is this 3-step instruction on how to load and release the bombs, which isn't too accurate to the real thing, but as we'll see in just a minute, it does not take away from the look of the set at all. And really, just adds a fun play feature. Directly underneath, we see that same image from the side of the box showing how to open and close the wings, or foils, if you will, of the ARC 170. And underneath that diagram, we are shown that yes, we can indeed put our clone troopers into their seats. The right side of the box is where things start to get a little interesting, showing us 2 alternate builds that the pieces of this set could be used for, and some other sets to help amplify your play or display of that Coruscant space battle. When new, you would find 7 unnumbered bags. That's right, 7 bags without any numbers, as well as your instruction manual. Now, considering that I got this set secondhand, I'm not surprised that it didn't come with any of its bags, but it did thankfully come with its instruction manual. Compared to most modern instruction manuals, this is quite unusual to see, since, as you can see, it is in a portrait scale. The artwork on the front of the instruction manual, though quite similar to the front of the box, is not actually the same. They are ever so slightly different. The steps in the instruction manual look different too, in quite a few ways, but I won't talk about them too much here. On the back of the instruction manual, we can see promotion for the, at the time new, LEGO Star Wars the video game. But that's enough of the formalities, let's take a look at the set itself. Like always, let's start with the minifigures. As we saw on the top of the box, this set comes with 3 clone pilots, but LEGO for some reason only gave 2 of them blasters. I guess that third one is just really good at fist fighting. But besides from the blasters, these minifigures are identical. Though these minifigures very much show their age, they still hold up pretty well today, with some really great printing on their helmets and torsos. I might even be so bold to argue that the printing on these helmets is a little bit better than what is done today. And if we take the helmet off, underneath is a plain black head. Now, you might recall the top of the box also showing us an astromech droid. Now, according to Bricklink, which may I remind you is owned by LEGO, the astromech droid we get in this set is none other than R5-D4. That's right, we're talking about this astromech droid from A New Hope. I'll give LEGO the pass on the accuracy for this one, considering this set is from 2005, and they probably didn't intend for this droid to be R5 at the time, but here we are. The nose of the ship has that nice pointed tip that you would expect to see on it, with that sharp red, white, and green color scheme. The set includes no stickers, but did utilize several printed parts, with the first being seen here to show the tip of the green highlight. Moving up a little more, and we reach the first of several cockpits. This is probably the most basic and difficult of the cockpits to get a minifigure in and out of, since the windshield is being held on from the front by some studs. And when we do get it off, our clone pilot is seated directly onto 4 studs. Something which, because of the age of the set, I'm not particularly wanting to do. So I'm just going to leave this clone pilot resting on top of the studs. Now, if you know anything about LEGO, you'll recognize that because of the age of this set and the fact that it uses so many pieces using that one dark red color, this set was a little scary to film. So be sure to give this video a like and subscribe to my channel to help me get through this stressful video. Now, onto the wings. These bad boys are massive, coming in at around 22 studs in length and around 10 studs in width. The wings, though rather bland on the detailed side of things, look really good, even matching up the split between red and white perfectly. Not to mention the printed Republic logo. That's something that LEGO sometimes doesn't even do today. If we move all the way along to the end of the wings, we find ourselves face to face with this ship's cannons, being the bottom longer stems, with those blue translucent pieces on the end to show that these guys are in a pretty serious battle. Directly above these cannons, we are met with their targeting system, being that much smaller stem, and also coincidentally having a blue stud on its end. Moving back in towards the center of the ship, we have the engines. Now, these engines are given an awesome print and a bit of a mechanical look, but those gears and cogs aren't just for looks. These cogs become quite functional when we look at the wider wing. As we can see, the foils are in their flat formation at the moment, but if we take a look at the back of the ship, we can find this interesting looking rod, which if we rotate, we can change them into attack position. This function did occasionally take a hot minute to properly open, but when it finally gets there, it looks awesome. If we keep rotating them, wouldn't you know it, but we can switch them back into flight position. Whilst we're back here and looking at this rod, if we pull it out, we get a pretty explosive play feature. This set includes 2 of these translucent dark blue pieces to act as the bombs here. And though the play feature isn't strictly canon to the Star Wars universe, I fully pass it, as it's just a fun play feature, and does not take away from the look of the set in the slightest. Obviously, once we've dropped all the bombs, we of course must put them back in. And to do that, there's a small 1x2 slot right behind the front cockpit, where you can quite simply put in the bombs. And now, you're ready to commit war crimes just like Anakin in almost every single episode of the Clone Wars. And if you thought that was cool, just wait until you see the cockpit area behind where the bombs are loaded in from. First of all, many early cockpits allowed for you to open and close them without taking the windshields fully off. But this was one of the first sets that allowed for that feature to be significantly smoother. Adding to that, both the front and the back windshield utilize this feature. But not only that, these side pieces do the same. And they do it in style, as they have some really nice printing both on the plain white slopes and on the translucent ones, allowing you to look in and see your pilots in action. And speaking of the pilots, let's get them in here. Getting them in is very similar to the first. Sit them down on any of these 4 studs, which of course, I'm not going to properly do because I'm not wanting these guys to get cracked like some of the pieces on this set unfortunately have. Between our 2 pilots, we also find the perfect spot to place our little astromech friend. These 2 yellow jumper plates allow for an amazing place to stand him. Simply turn his head to face the front and gently place him in. Thanks to this stand being a single studded jumper plate on either foot, it's very easy to take him out, making this one of the only minifigures, or rather the only minifigure in this set that I would be willing to properly sit in this set at its age. On both sides of the cockpit, we find ourselves some small black slopes with Tri-Droids printed on. There's another accuracy point to this set. And if we move right to the back of this ship, we find our rear cannon, fully equipped with a translucent blue cone to amplify the effect that it's in the middle of combat. Looking at the side profile of this set now, and my goodness, does this thing look good. Sure, it may have some gaps here and there, and the rubber bands that are used to open and close the wings may break at any point. LEGO still nailed it 20 years ago. Though this set is from 2005, I personally think that it still very much holds up today, with mostly really great printing, pretty decent minifigures, excellent play features, spectacular building techniques for the time, and really, heaps more. With that said, there's still tons of nice things that I unfortunately wasn't able to include here for several reasons, but in the future I would love to come back to this set and take a much closer look at it, plus compare it to its in-universe counterpart. For now though, please remember to like this video and subscribe to my channel to stay up to date with all my videos. May the 4th be with you always, even if it's not May the 4th. Take care and talk soon.